I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at my website, starborninstitute.org, you'd already know that the title of tonight's show, it sort of applies to everyone right now, because the title of the show is An Easy Change. And the reason why we can all be going through that very soon is because we're having a fabulous new moon at 27 degrees of Gemini on Sunday. And that sign is loaded with very good planets. And Gemini rules communication and easy transitional change. So on Sunday, the sun and the new moon will be at 27 degrees, and Mercury is also in the sign of Gemini, and Mercury is Gemini's ruler. And so those three very strong planets in a creative air sign that rules communication and easy transitional change means that the reason a change would be easy for you is because it would just sort of be flowing from one thing to another. That's what would make it so easy. So all of the things that Gemini represents are highlighted under this very strong new moon on Sunday at 27 degrees of Gemini. So you could be making plans, and those plans could involve a short trip, because that's what Gemini rules, or taking a training class or a short seminar or any kind of short class like a vocational class or a community college class, sort of to update your skills. That's what Gemini rules, short forms of communication. And then also you could perhaps be thinking of some sort of temporary or part-time job, maybe a summer job that you're thinking of taking. Well, that would be great, and it would work out. And Gemini rules youth. This is a wonderful time for young people that are just getting out of school to find part-time jobs. And so that would be an easy change, wouldn't it? And it's also possible that you could certainly, whatever kind of change you're making, it would involve a lot more communication. And that's good for everyone, don't you think, right now? Because after all, we've been through this, this lockdown from the pandemic, and then there's very tumultuous events going on throughout the world, such as war. And so this is a time when we can concentrate a little bit more on just simple things that don't take too long. They might be part-time or temporary, and they involve our friends and our buddies and our neighbors. Gemini rules neighborhoods. And it rules just sort of getting together and seeing what we can get done. And communicating in a way that everybody understands, sort of easy. And so that's what you're looking forward to. And since Mercury, the ruler of the sign, is there, and it rules news, there could probably be some good news headed your way. And that good news could bring about an easy change. And so I think that you've got a lot to look forward to next week, because the new moon isn't until Sunday. But still, that's nice. This new moon in Gemini would signal the end of one phase of something that you've been doing and the start of another phase. And the reason why there is this idea of ending one thing and sort of transitioning to another is because the new moon is at 27 degrees. And we reduce numbers by adding their digits. So 2 plus 7 equals 9. And the new moon is at 27 degrees. And 9 is the highest of all the single digits, and it indicates finishing. And so that's why I think that one phase of your life could sort of be winding up and finishing, and you can be making plans at least, or preparing for another phase instead that could represent an easy change for you. And yet, there can still be little controversies around that we have to deal with. And they could revolve around money. And the reason why is that there are 4 planets in the fixed signs all squaring each other. And so we better take a look at that. Mars and Venus are still in Leo, a fixed sign, and they are squaring Jupiter and Uranus now in Taurus. And Mars is a malefic planet, and Uranus is a malefic planet. And both of these planets have a lot to do with speed, because Mars is a very aggressive, impulsive, speedy planet. And Uranus rules sudden, surprising change. And these are malefic planets. Those are the ones that can get you in trouble. And they certainly will try to, because they're challenging each other, along with Venus in Leo and with Jupiter in Taurus. And so I think that there still could be a huge blow-up or final argument about money. And it's really, the people that are arguing about money are simply challenging each other and really not getting anywhere. But I can guarantee you there's an argument going on. And so try to stay out of that if you can, because there may not be any winners, except for one thing. A major planet has just changed signs, and it's Pluto. It only moved 1 degree, but it was at 0 degrees of Aquarius, which rules the future, and it has retrograded back. It's gone back 1 degree to 29 degrees of Capricorn. And the 29th degree of any sign is the degree of fate, and Capricorn rules big business, big government agencies, and the administration, and it rules people sort of at the top or who have been around a long time. And so now Pluto has gone back into Capricorn, and it is trining Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. But Capricorn is a sign ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the planet of time. And that simply means that the way to end a financial argument right now, which can be quite heated, is to think about suggesting some sort of a payment plan that could be more long-term. See, Capricorn rules long-term things. It's ruled by Saturn. And so if you were not too sure of what the future holds according to the current economic instability, it might be a little bit wiser of you not to argue about getting the whole amount of something or even paying the whole amount of something, but instead reduce that time period or lengthen the time period for any kind of a payment by taking smaller payments over a longer period of time. That could be maybe a safe way to end an argument. And okay, it wouldn't be getting anybody a big lump sum of money, but it might be to whoever is arguing, it might be to their advantage if they would agree to, if they're the ones that want the money, if they would agree to take a smaller amount over a longer period of time. What would this do for them? It would give them a steady stream of income, maybe not as large as they wanted initially, but over a longer period of time, it would represent safety, financial safety. Because whether the prices are going up or down, or the interest rates are going up or down, or inflation is exploding, those steady payments over a long period of time do represent financial stability. Even if they are smaller, they're going to last a pretty long time. And that means you can be assured, if it was you that was fighting about money, you could be assured of a steady income stream for a long time. And that may be your best defense against chaotic financial conditions that are fluctuating. So you might think about that. Uranus is that planet of sudden surprising change, and it's going to be in Taurus until 2025. So there's always going to be financial fluctuations. And if you want to guard against that, then this might be a better time to agree on smaller payments over a longer period of time, just so you have something you can rely on for a long time. So I would suggest that. And then the other thing that we do need to watch out for a little bit as you're making an easy change is that there could be little white lies being told behind somebody's back, maybe even behind your back, that you don't know about, and the intent is to be deceitful or to tarnish the outstanding reputation of someone. And the reason why deceit could be around right now, and you need to guard against that, so don't believe everything you're hearing right now, is because that Sun and New Moon and Mercury in Gemini on Sunday are all being squared by Neptune and Saturn in Pisces. So that's 5 planets in mutable signs. The mutable signs are very adaptable. They're usually rather agreeable. They sort of just get along with people. And the 4 mutable signs are Gemini, Pisces, Sagittarius, and Virgo. And so with these 5 planets squaring each other under the new moon, someone could come along and try to be very deceitful or tarnish the ability for you to make an easy change. And so make sure that whatever you're saying you can prove, because that's your best defense against somebody else who's telling little white lies right now. And so I think you would be able to still go forward. This is a fantastic new moon because it has the lights, the sun and the moon, and the ruler there, Mercury. A sign couldn't get any stronger than that. That's why I think we're all going to be able to make an easy change. So, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Aries, for you, the sign of Gemini, where the new moon is on Sunday, sextiles your sun, Aries. So I think you're going to be able to hear about a new beginning. And I think that is going to make you perk up, Aries, because after all, you still have Mars and Venus in Leo trining your sun. They're backing you up, but they're sort of coming from behind and backing you up. What you need is something that will lead you forward. And that's what a sextile does. It offers opportunity. And so with the sun, new moon, and Mercury in Gemini, you are probably going to hear some good news that will be around somewhere. And I hope you're awake and alert, Aries, because that could lead you in a new direction that would be just right for you. And remember, Gemini rules part-time or temporary things. So it wouldn't have to be forever, but it could be there could be good news about a wonderful new start that you could make, Aries. And I would not discount that. Actually, most of the news should be pretty good right now, or at least by the time of the new moon on Sunday. So get your feelers out right now, Aries, and keep your ears and eyes open for something new that interests you, because if it does, you would need to act quickly. And that's why it's nice that Mars and Venus in Leo are trining your sun, because that would give you the extra energy to move forward quickly if you wanted to, which I hope you do. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is a time, Taurus, when it's rather lucky for you that Pluto just changed. It only moved 1 degree, but it moved out of Aquarius and into the 29th degree of Capricorn, where it now trines your sun, where you have Jupiter and Uranus. And they are under duress because they're being squared by Mars and Venus in Leo. But Pluto is actually backing up your sign right now. It is supporting your sign, Taurus. And so, and you have Jupiter in your sign. That's pretty good. So, okay, not everyone is agreeing with you about a financial matter right now. And I would advise you not to waste a whole lot of time in argument, Taurus. I mean, yours is a fixed sign, and the planets that are causing you a little grief are Mars and Venus in Leo, and it's a fixed sign, and fixed signs don't want to give in. But couldn't you go around somebody that wants to argue with you right now, Taurus, and search for another way to get what you want, or a different way of communicating? Because on Sunday, the sun, the new moon, and Mercury are all in Gemini right ahead of your sun sign. And it's a very well-lit new moon. And so I think that you should take advantage of something that might be temporary, or it might be something that could lead to something more permanent, but it also could get you out of a stagnating and quarrelsome situation that you can't win. So why stay in it? And so go ahead, rather than arguing about money, try to listen to somebody else's idea about, how to handle things. Because actually, Taurus, it might be, Taurus likes to have their money up front because they're hard workers. They feel they deserve it. I'm not arguing with that. I agree with you. But it's a very uncertain world right now, particularly financially. And you have a planet of instability, Uranus, in your sign for the next 2 years. It's been there for 5 years, and now it's going to be there for another 2 years. And you need to guard against these sudden fluctuations that can happen in anybody's investments, but it could certainly happen to you. Or high taxation, that could happen to you. And so if you were in an argument, why don't you consider lowering, not exactly lowering the amount that you're arguing about, but lower the payment schedule of it, so that you are taking smaller payments, but over a longer period of time. And then just drop the arguments and drop the animosity and say, okay, I realize I might not get what I want right now, but I will take this amount. You could lower your amount a little bit, because actually, once you're extending, even if the payments are lower, and it's a lower amount than you want right now, by extending the time that you're getting the payments, you could reinvest that money and make up anything that you are not getting right now. You just need more time in a stable financial environment to make your money really grow. But I would say trying to get a lot of money right now in an unstable financial environment, what good is that going to do you in the long run, Taurus? Because if you got a lump sum now and the market turns bad, you've lost it right away. But if you just say, okay, we won't fight anymore, I'm just going to, and I'll take a lower amount, a lower whole amount and smaller payments, but I need it over a longer period of time. If someone would agree to that, Taurus, think quietly about saying yes, because you may be able to make up the difference and still get the amount you want by reinvesting that money over a longer period of time. It's just that you don't know what the economic environment is going to be, particularly for the next 2 years. And you've already lived through 5 years of financial volatility, because that's how long Uranus has already been in your sign. And it's a malefic planet. It's not everyone's best friend. And also, right now, so I'm giving you a little early warning system about this. Mars in Leo is squaring Uranus in your sign. Well, Mars rules war, and Uranus rules the internet and computers. So let's think, Taurus, about what cyber warfare could do to your bank accounts. Because that's what this indicates. Mars squaring Uranus, cyber warfare. But it doesn't have to be about war. It could be about stealing, crime. So think about how you could sort of get by that, Taurus. At least I hope you think about that a little bit, because Pluto is now trining your sun and backing your sun up. You haven't had any backup in a while, and now it's doing that. So I think a little bit more long term. You may end up better in the long term if you agree to that. So I hope you do. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Oh, Gemini. Well, my hat's off to you, Gemini. Something wonderful is about to happen to you, and it certainly could be good news that you get about an easy change. And it doesn't have to be permanent. It could be part-time. It could be a short trip that you want to take. It could be a short class that you want to take. It could be doing something with your friends and your buddies and your neighbors that would be something happy. Or it could be that you are wanting to do something even that would involve a part-time job or a temporary job or working with younger people. You'd love that. Geminis have a very youthful attitude, and they always look younger than they are. Geminis don't age very much. I wish I knew their secret. But anyway, this is a time when you should get out and try to shine, Gemini, because this new moon is going to do you a world of good. It does represent the end of one phase and the start of another. So you have to understand, it'll be an easy transitional ending of one phase and the start of another. But I think that you are going to either hear about or you're going to be able to anticipate an easy change in your life. And as I said, it doesn't have to be forever. But I'm pretty sure, Gemini, you're going to enjoy it. So keep your eyes and ears open for something that's very appealing. And if it only involves a short trip, be sure and do something creative on that trip, or you could meet some very nice friends on a short trip right now. So that would be pretty nice too. So anything that your sign rules is very well aspected right now under this new moon on Sunday at 27 degrees of Gemini. And that's because not only do you have both lights in your sign, the sun and the moon, but you have your ruler, Mercury, there. It isn't too often that everybody they can have the lights in their sign, but they don't always have the ruler of the sign there too. And it's the ruler that's really making it strong. So I think if nothing else, Gemini, you should be, Gemini, your sign rules the public. You should definitely be out in the public because you're just going to shine and make everyone else feel wonderful too. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Cancer. Well, Cancer, there's something going on in the background of your life. I just know it. And the reason why is that new moon on Sunday at 27 degrees of Gemini, with the sun, new moon, and Mercury there, are right behind your sun sign. And so, what's going on in the background of your life? Cancer, everybody could probably see that if they wanted to, because there's so much light right behind your sun sign. And so if you have been sort of quietly working on something that is maybe part-time or just in the planning stages, maybe it hasn't really developed fully yet, if you have been working on that, there could be some very good news about that in the background of your life that would make you extremely happy. And it would lead to more communication. Now, this new moon means that everyone should be communicating more. So you could be a little bit busier behind the scenes. And it could be just on a temporary or part-time thing. It could be with your neighbors or your brothers and sisters or some people in your neighborhood. It could be just around you. It could be a move, but the move would be to another neighborhood. I mean, it wouldn't be... Remember, Gemini rules easy transitional change. So it doesn't rule drastic change. And so I think that you are in a position to be extremely active behind the scenes, communicating with people. Gemini rules communication, sort of short forms of communication. I mean, it's, you don't have to write a book, Cancer. All you have to do is talk to people. And it could be about something that you've already developed, an idea that you've already developed or that you've already been thinking about. Or this could be actually, Cancer, a more hopeful time for you. Because with Mercury in Gemini right behind your sun sign, it would indicate good news in the background of your life. And it could be something that you've just quietly been working on or thinking about anyway. And possibly it could come true now. So I think you really need to pay attention. Don't be by yourself for too much longer, Cancer. Get out in the public eye or get around other people or even just around your neighbors. But interact with people. Cancers are a little shy, but, it doesn't hurt to smile more, or it doesn't hurt to contact people. They would be glad to hear from you because this is one of the best new moons of the whole year. It's right behind your sun sign in the background of your life. So I would say, sort of short and sweet, Cancer, I think you've got something cooking on the back burner. And it looks to me like it represents good news. And it's good news about some sort of easy change, which does involve more communication. And so maybe this is just the time for you to communicate more. You wouldn't be doing it maybe to everybody, but involving something behind the scenes that you're already thinking about, or that you've made plans for, or that you've been concentrating on, maybe just quietly, there's going to be good news about that, Cancer. And I think you're going to like the good news. So sort of keep up the good work. And don't be by yourself this weekend. Get out, even if all you're doing is taking a walk. You could really have a great weekend, Cancer. So give it a try. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Leo. Well, Leo, there are two dynamic planets in your sign. One of them is Venus and the other one is Mars. They are under duress. First of all, they have no support. There's nothing in Aries and there's nothing in Sagittarius. But Venus is a very good sign. It could put you in a good mood. It could make you think loving thoughts about people. However, Mars is a malefic planet. And both of these planets, so Mars can get you in trouble. It can make you quarrelsome. Or it can make you really competitive, or have a competitive edge that other people would see as being a little too aggressive. In other words, they wouldn't like that very much. So you should try to let the Venus show a little bit more in your life right now, Leo, and not the Mars. However, that might be a little tough because Venus and Mars in your sign are squaring Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. And Mars is a malefic planet and Uranus is a malefic planet, and they do indicate cyber warfare. But it could be in somebody's bank account or investment account. And the reason why is Taurus rules investments. It rules money. Or it can be that you're feeling like you want to argue about money right now. And I'm saying it's very lucky that Taurus now has a planet supporting that sign, which is Pluto, which has just moved into Capricorn. And so rather than you continue to argue about money, Leo, first of all, even though Leos have a lot of pride and it's a fixed sign and they can just compete and compete and compete, that doesn't always assure that they're going to win anything. And so if you wanted to, why don't you think a little bit more about how you can win? And I don't think argument has gotten you too far. So why don't you think, if you're arguing about money, which it looks like people are having big arguments about money, not just you, but a lot of other people, why don't you lower your demand a little bit, which shows a more cooperative attitude, which could make the other person that you're arguing with be more cooperative too, so you could gain that way. But if you lowered the amount that you wanted, but you insisted that it be paid in smaller amounts over a longer period of time, that would give you a steady financial income during very chaotic financial times. It could really help you out for a long time. Just steady you. Okay, so that would be one very steady income. Maybe it wouldn't represent everything that you wanted, but there's a lot to be said for financial stability these days because there isn't much of that around. And that's why I'm thinking, just one big lump sum may not do you half as much good as a smaller amount with smaller payouts over a much longer period. You can take those smaller payments and invest them. You could grow the money yourself. But just arguing about a large sum right now, that's a no-winner. You're not going to get what you want, Leo. And on top of that, the world is a little bit shaky financially, and that's actually what you need to circumvent. Sooner or later, you may or may not stop arguing with somebody, but the point is, you need to move on too. And you need to take some money with you. And by agreeing to a smaller amount and smaller payments over a longer period of time, you're creating a steady income flow in an uncertain world. And that's hard to do, actually. So, because you're still able to work, it's just that you're going to have a cushion, financial cushion, that way. And you need the cushion over time a whole lot better than you need a lump sum right now, Leo. Because lump sums come and go. But that steady, a little lower amount, smaller payments over a long period of time, that you will be awful glad that you agreed to that if you do agree to it. Because that'll bring you financial stability and whoever it is that you're arguing with. I mean, that's sort of a good way to bury the hatchet, which I hope you want to do. So at least think about it. Because the new moon in Gemini, with the sun, new moon, and Mercury there, sextile your sun. You can talk yourself into a good deal, but you can't win an argument now. And I don't think you're going to. So how about getting over that and setting yourself up to go on your own way so you can do what you want. So I hope you think about that. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Virgo. This is a time, Virgo, when, Virgo, there's some sort of stability, greater stability that is coming into your life. I don't know if it's really here yet, but it could be. It could be coming. You could find out about that pretty soon, too. Not exactly from the new moon, because the new moon in Gemini, along with the sun and Mercury, your own ruler, Virgo, all square your sun. Okay? So there can be news about change, particularly an easy change, but I'm not certain that you had anticipated that, and so you might be caught a little bit by surprise about some very good news that represents an easy change, but it wasn't on your radar, or it might not be on your radar when you actually get the news. Still, it's good news, so, I hope you make room for that in your life, Virgo. However, it could be that there's more stability coming into your life. Maybe it's connected with the good news, maybe it isn't, but I'm pretty sure that's headed your way. And it could be involving your career or a job, either a job you have or a job you want. That could be pretty good news for you right now, Virgo, because Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus are trining your sun, which is very good for you, particularly the Jupiter. Jupiter's going to be trining your sun for a long time, and it rules investments. And then Pluto has now moved into Capricorn. It's retrograde, but it's at the 29th degree of fate, and Capricorn rules our careers. And because it's also trining your sun, and Capricorn, its ruler is Saturn, and Saturn is the planet of stability. And so I think it is possible that you will be getting some news about some greater stability that has to do with your career or with some long-term plan of yours. So it could have something to do with a pension plan of some sort, because Capricorn rules pensions as well. Or a retirement account, something like that. But there is more stability. I think there actually might be some more money coming your way. I don't think it's just going to drop into your lap. But I think even the good news that's coming, if you allow for that, that could even lead to more money. It just could not be something that actually fits in your usual plans, but if you could adapt to it, it would be worth your while. Gemini rules being adaptable and versatile, but Virgo rules staying on a steady path. But the more people that fight about money, particularly over the summer, the more tired they're going to get. And the world is too shaky financially for, even if somebody won a financial argument, it wouldn't be a solid win, because the world is not solid financially. And so, we're all subject to financial conditions that we don't control. So that's why we have to think a little bit more about stability over time, even if it means smaller amounts. And you would agree with that, Virgo. Virgos are rules accounting. They're careful with their money. Virgo rules banking. But I'm just saying, there can be some very good news coming your way about some sort of a change which you had not anticipated, and therefore it might be a little hard for you to get used to it since the new moon squares your sun. But on the other hand, there can be more stability involving your career coming into your life. So good luck is what I'm saying. Just go slow and be careful, but that's what you're always like anyway, Virgo, so I just stay away from fighting about anything. That's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to get anybody anywhere. Those 4 planets that are fighting with each other, 2 of them are malefic planets, Venus and Mars in Leo up against Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. No one's going to win a financial argument if they just keep hitting at each other. And on top of that, there's the possibility of cyber warfare. Everybody ought to be checking their accounts or changing their passwords or whatever. This is when we should be proactive about preventing any kind of cyber attack if we can. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Libra. This is a time, Libra, when you could be basking in glory. And that is because the new moon on Sunday, with the sun, new moon, and Mercury in Gemini, all trine your sun. And your sign rules partnership. And it rules peace and compromise, and it rules the law and all legal contracts. And so I think that there can be some very good news coming your way, Libra, that involves an easy change. And it's very favorable news. And so it's a little hard to say where the change is coming in your life. It's sort of coming right at you, Libra, which is very nice. So I think it's around you somewhere. And it does involve, remember, for everybody, this fabulous new moon on Sunday signals the end of one phase and the start of another. But it's not a drastic change. It's just an easy change. And so that's, you can move. But it wouldn't be a halfway around the world move. It would be something where you're moving or you're developing property, or you could be moving in with somebody else. But it would be somewhere near your own neighborhood, or it would be close by. It wouldn't be far away. Gemini rules neighborhoods. And this new moon is extremely strong. The only thing that is countering it in any way is the fact that Saturn and Neptune in Pisces are squaring it, which means there can be deceptive people around, sort of telling little white lies that aren't true. Well, all of us should not believe everything that we hear right now. Maybe we should test the truth before we believe that it is the truth. And, don't take everything at face value right now. But Libra, you are in a really good position to be in a new partnership or to take on some sort of work that is part-time or temporary, but could be quite appealing to you. And it would probably involve being out in the public a little bit more. Gemini rules the public. And when you're out in the public, of course, everyone can see that wonderful smile that you have, Libra, and that can draw them to you. Libras have a way of drawing people to them. Probably because your ruler is Venus. I guess you just know how to do that. Lucky you. And so I think that this is a most fortunate new moon for you, that there will be some sort of easy change in your life that's you're quite able to adapt to, and it could represent good news. And still, the end of one phase in your life and the beginning of another one. They go together. And I think that will be great. So good luck, Libra, and enjoy yourself. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Scorpio. This is a time, Scorpio, when you should try to live to fight another day. And the reason why is your sign does have good support, because Saturn and Neptune are in Pisces, and Neptune rules Pisces, and they are trining your sun, which means you can make a precious dream of yours, maybe a secret dream, your sign rules secrecy, come true. And it could be something that you had been hoping for or wishing for a very long time. And it could happen, Scorpio. So that's why I'm cautioning you. How much of your time do you want to spend in arguments that don't get anywhere? And because you could be involved in that. Yours is a fixed sign, and it's a financial fixed sign. And so Venus and Mars in Leo are squaring your sign, and Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus are opposing your sign. Okay, so there's 4 other planets in other fixed signs that are challenging your sign and the sign of Aquarius. And if you want to get caught up in that, I don't see you winning. So what would you be doing, Scorpio? It's a little bit like beating your head against the wall. It's going to give you a headache, but what else are you going to get? Not much. People who are fighting about money right now, there's no winners. And even if they think they're all right, because every fixed sign thinks they're right, at the same time, nobody controls the rest of the world. Nobody controls all the finances in the world. And so you can be arguing about money that is that you think that somebody wants, so you could be thinking you'd have to pay them money in the future, and they could be just demanding it. Okay, that wouldn't go over with you at all, because maybe they don't have any proof that there's any value in their assertion. And so I don't think, are going to be in the mood to agree to any kind of a financial arrangement or argument right now. And I think that if you backed off a little bit, if you were in a financial argument, and you suggested that the other person back off a little bit too, or you talked to their representative and you didn't talk to that person anymore because they could be making you mad anyway. So I mean, avoiding conversation with them might be a good idea. You might get a little bit more satisfied or satisfaction if you talk with a representative of theirs, but not to them. However, you would have to agree, I think, on lowering the terms in some way, and possibly agreeing to, if you owe the money, a longer payout over a smaller payment over a longer period of time. This is quite an advantage to both sides, not just the person getting the money, but the person paying the money as well. It's an advantage both ways. Okay, it's not the big amount everybody's arguing about, but it probably is an amount that people could afford at a smaller payment over a long period of time. And that ends the argument. That ends the tension. And that gets both sides on a separate financial track that each side can then decide what to do with the money. Well, Scorpio, your sign actually rules money management. It rules financing. It rules money coming in, but also money going out. And it rules justice and survival. And it rules the military, and it rules the whole medical field. There are just a whole lot of ways that you could make up whatever you're agreeing to pay. You wouldn't miss the money after a while, because you'd have more coming in. There would be compensation. Not from the person you're arguing with, but you got to end arguments after a while, because if they're leading to dead ends, that'll cost you money in the end. It can cost you physical harm just by being in an argument. That's not good for anybody. So think of your future. Think of that precious dream that could come true, Scorpio. Think about moving forward, because that's what the new moon on Sunday is all about. Good news involving an easy change. Well, actually, Scorpio, I I don't think there's a Scorpio in the world that will actually lose money in the end. They're very good at being a money manager. They're a little bit better about managing other people's money as well. Whereas Taurus, they're good at making their own money. But Scorpio is good at managing money, particularly if it involves other people's money as well. So just think of a way that you can get on a happier track right now, Scorpio. And I advise you and everybody else, do not prolong an argument about money. It's a dead-end street. There are no winners. So what? Do you just want to bang your head against a wall for the rest of your life? Who wants that? It's better, it's better to settle and on a little bit lower terms, longer payout, and then enjoy that good news that's coming your way. Particularly if it involves a secret dream of yours. That could end up making you very happy. And arguing about money is never going to do that. So get over it, one way or another. And get on to that precious dream that will make you happier than you've ever been. Because that's possible. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Sagittarius. Well, Sagittarius, Venus and Mars in Leo are actually trining your sun still. They're under a little duress right now. They're being harshly squared by 2 planets in Taurus, so I think they can be representing arguments about money as well, or cyber attacks on financial institutions that can affect all of us. Ugh. But actually, because they trine your sun, Sagittarius, this might be a wonderful time for you to take a short trip, even if it involves a long distance. Your sign rules long distance travel. Or you could take a short course to upgrade your skills. That's sort of a nice thing to do in the summer. Or you could be learning some new skill that has to do with a sport that you're attracted to. That could be fun for you. And so I think that if you are not making plans for some sort of trip, then there can be visitors that are making plans to come and see you. And either way, it would be quite enjoyable. Mainly because it wouldn't last a real long time, and that's why it would be enjoyable. So, if you're anticipating a short trip somewhere, you're going to have a lot of fun, Sagittarius. And if you are, it could be to some sort of sporting event or an entertainment, some sort of entertainment like a concert. That would be fun for you too, Sagittarius. And if you're taking a course, you would love that because yours is an intellectual sign anyway. Even if you were taking a one-day training course, you would love it. Sagittarians like learning new things. Their minds are always working. So Sagittarius, even though the new moon on Sunday at 27 degrees and the Sun and Mercury are in Gemini, all opposing your sun sign, okay, it simply means that the emphasis can be on something short-term or possibly people who are younger than you. Gemini rules youth or students. And so, you would have to more or less adapt to whatever they're thinking about right now, Sagittarius. But you could do it. And also, it's very, very hard to get the best of a Sagittarian because they're generally thinking ahead. And so, if you were working with some younger students that were all trying to pull the wool over your eyes, Sagittarius, they can't do it. They could have a great time trying. But if you're working with other students, I think you would really enjoy it, even if it wasn't for a very long time. So just try to give a lot of allowance for people that do things in a different way than you do. But it still could be pretty enjoyable for you. And just remember, nobody's going to give you a serious challenge. They could just keep trying to, but I don't think they're going to succeed. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time, Capricorn, when you can be sort of feeling like making your move. And it may not be a physical move, but it is what I might call a power move. So it could involve a career choice of yours in one way or another. Even if you were choosing to retire, that's a career move, a power move. Or it could be that you're already retired and you want to develop a skill that you have in another career. Well, that could be coming up too. And the reason why, Capricorn, is that Pluto has just changed signs, and it only moved 1 degree, but it moved out of Aquarius and into your sign, but it is at the 29th degree of fate. And so I think, Capricorn, what that means, since also Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus are trining your sun, you have 3 planets trining your sun right now. It simply means that I think that you're coming to a real decision, a serious decision about some type of career choice that you have either started already to develop, or you are thinking of winding that up and doing something else. But I think you're having pretty serious thoughts about something, Capricorn. And I think that it involves you being stronger or more in charge of something. And not in an offensive way, or not in a way that anybody would take offense at. It simply means that, you know, you can sort of feel like you're coming into your own. This would involve any Capricorn at any age, because Pluto has already been in your sign for years. Okay, so it left and it went into Aquarius. Well, it's sort of doing this year, and now it's come back into your sign. And I think that's why you're concluding something now. And it's about something that you always wanted to do. And because Pluto's at the 29th degree. I mean, you've had a lot of time to think about it. And I think that you're deciding, I better do that right now. And get going on that. Maybe there's some money in that. Or I can afford to put some money into it. So I think you are going to get some good news. And that good news could involve an easy change. But that change in your life, Capricorn, is just going to a little higher plane or a higher plateau or a higher development of something that you've already been involved with or wanted to do. So it's going to work. Capricorns are never in a hurry. So you probably have waited a pretty long time to decide that, oh, now I better get on this. And you would sure be right about it. You would also be far more successful than you think, because you've had time to think it over, time to delay it, time to prepare, time to change your mind. You've done all that, Capricorn. And with Pluto at the 29th degree, and being beautifully trined by the planets in Taurus, I think you're getting pretty serious about, okay, now you need to go forward. Well, all right. You can do it, Capricorn, because you are so well prepared, because you're a little overdue, and you almost have to play catch up and get going. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius. This is a time, Aquarius, when in a way, if you want to, you can do no wrong. That would be nice. I hope you sort of rise to that and do it. Do something that way. Because the Sun, the New Moon, and Mercury in Gemini on Sunday are all trining your sun sign. And your sign rules the future. And Gemini rules communication and easy transitional change. And so there's good news coming your way, Aquarius. And it's about a change of some sort. I don't think it's a big change, Aquarius, unless you're arguing about money, which I advise you not to do. Anybody who's in an argument about money has got to end the argument. Okay, no winners in this kind of argument. That's because there's 4 planets in fixed signs, and one of those fixed signs is Taurus, a financial sign. And you know, it's just knocking heads, but there's no winners. And Mars and Venus in Leo oppose your sun, Aquarius, and Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus square your sun. So there you are, boxed in if you get in a financial argument. So either agree to a smaller amount, negotiate that, and then smaller payments over a longer period of time so it doesn't hurt your budget too much if you're doing the paying. It also doesn't hurt your budget if the payments are smaller, because by taking them over a longer period of time, you are assuring some kind of financial stability through chaotic economic times. That's a real good idea. Even if the amount isn't as much as you wanted, over time you need the stability worse than you need a big lump sum. Because, you know, Aquarius, your sign rules the future. So what does the future look like to a lot of people right now? Well, I think we're very close to World War III. And if somebody makes a wrong move and falters, and somebody sees their chance to move in and take over, they're getting ready to do it. You know, when war breaks out, there's always a prelude to it. And we're in the prelude, for sure. So we're looking at big things. We're looking at whole countries that are just waiting for the right time to hit somebody else. And for that reason, we need to stick together. We need to try to stabilize our lives. That doesn't sound exciting, does it? But living is exciting. It's just that when you aren't in control of the forces that are going on in the world, you've got to protect yourself more. And so I'm saying people that are fighting about money, they are not getting anywhere, and they're not even protecting themselves. And we have to do that now. So think a little bit, because you've got some good news coming your way, Aquarius, and it's about some easy change that you can make, because it's just going to land on your doorstep. That's why. I mean, why close the door? Open the door, let in something good. And then, you know, it doesn't have to be forever. But this new moon for everybody represents the end of one phase and the start of another. And maybe you could use a new start, Aquarius. It's hard for fixed signs to change. But life goes on. And your sign rules tomorrow. It rules the future. You got to get ahead so you can make it to tomorrow, Aquarius. And you can do that, particularly under this new moon, because all three of those planets in Gemini are trining your sun. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Oh, Pisces. This is a time, Pisces, when you can feel, in a way, that you know something could be uncomfortable, or you could feel that not everybody understands you right now, or you could just be looking around and you could not be understanding some of the crazy things that are going on in the world. So that's true. But the reason why I'm mentioning that there's a little disconnect maybe between your plans and someone else's is because the Sun, New Moon, and Mercury in Gemini are all squaring your Sun where you have Saturn and Neptune, which is your own ruler. And so neither the planets in Gemini are backed up, nor are the planets in your sign backed up. In other words, there's no other planets in water signs, and there's no other planets in air signs. But this new moon in Gemini has everything beat, because it's got both lights and its own ruler. But they're all squaring your Sun. And so you could be running into people that perhaps are not quite your type, Pisces. They could be younger. They could have a different way of looking at the world than you have, and they're stuck on it. Because, you know, young people, they sort of grasp at things and try them out. They're not afraid of that. And so they're prone to making mistakes. And that's how they learn. That's how we all learn, by our mistakes. But you could be running up against some people that might really not think the way you do, Pisces. So what are you going to do? If I were you, since your own ruler is in your sign, even if there is some good news that could bring about an easy transitional change, I would think it over carefully first, Pisces. Make sure it's something that you would actually benefit from before you make the change. And talk about it, and map it out, think about it a little bit. And then, since Neptune is in your sign and it rules dreams, and yours is a healing water sign and a very creative sign, this is probably a little bit better time for you to just draw on your own creativity and express it. Sometimes when you're doing any kind of artwork or anything creative, and then you sort of stand back and you look at it, it begins to talk to you. It begins to, whatever you do creatively, it can be telling you where you are today in a way that gets to you, that you can understand yourself better by doing something creative, because it'll talk back to you, and it'll tell you if this is good or not good enough. And so you should maybe stick to what you do, and maybe take a little quiet time to think about what you want. And hopefully it is making a precious dream come true, because that could heal you, Pisces, and it might heal a whole lot more people than you think. When people try to make their dreams come true, I sort of think heaven's on their side. In other words, there can be unseen forces helping you. Because when a person is sincere and they're doing something from their heart and it's genuine, nothing beats it. So, be true to yourself, Pisces, because there's something sort of wonderful inside of you, and you just need to bring it out a little bit more. And you can do that, and if it requires making a sort of an easy transitional change, well, think it over, but maybe that would be a good thing to do, as long as it helps you make a dream come true. So good luck. Okay, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show if you subscribe to it on my Karen Campbell YouTube channel, and I hope you tell your friends about that too. And you can also read the blog on my StarbornInstitute.org website, and that'll explain the theme of the show a little bit more every week, so you might enjoy that too. And until next week, I hope all of you enjoy a very easy change that could be coming up in your life. It should be rather nice. Good luck. Thanks a lot. Bye.